Speed Metal Kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage for the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
Wednesday night is here once again, and that means it's time for Auburn Family Night. This is the show each and every week where you, the Auburn family, take center stage. We're going to take your comments, topics, questions, and calls. All that's coming up here right now. War Eagle, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk about what's going on in the Auburn experience, which is all about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. If it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us in what we're going to be doing this evening, Auburn Family Night, on this lovely but warm Wednesday evening as we sit in the doldrums of waiting for college football to be back and fall sports in particular, as I wear a basketball shirt tonight. Now, obviously, this is my favorite night of the week. It's Auburn Family Night. I wanted to start off on a good note tonight. So if you're here in the chat, watching live, even if you watched on the replay, let's get this show started off right tonight. Let's go ahead and smash the like button. Let's go ahead. Tell us you're here. Let us know in the chat where you're watching from. That's a great way to start off announcing your location for your streaming capabilities tonight. Capabilities, that's a weird word. We just want to know who's here, where you're checking in from, because it usually is a little cool feature. And yes, tonight we do want to hear from you. You can take part in Auburn Family Night by interacting in the chat, dropping comments and questions. We'll be bouncing off a lot of that for you all this evening. You can certainly do that, but you could also take advantage of the call-in link this evening and get in line for that. That is now available for people, and we'll start taking calls in just a little bit from those of you that want to take advantage of that. But I wouldn't hesitate. Go ahead and get in line now to give it a try. And that link is at the top of the chat window over there on YouTube, and it should be you have to scroll up on Facebook. I can't pin it up there for you guys. It should be available for you all. All right, so there's 1,000 different ways that we can check in tonight about the different topics, the different things. We're going to get into what you guys specifically want to talk about tonight too. But let me set the table for us. It's summer, right? The momentum's starting to build. SEC Media Days has already happened, and certainly that got us a little bit jazzed up for the week that was. But that's over now. We sit here in this weird week in between SEC Media Days, fall practice starting, everything in between, and we're just waiting for the next athletic calendar year to officially begin. May I remind you that it starts with soccer, followed quickly by volleyball, followed quickly by football, and then cross country, I think, is how it'll all, and then equestrian as well. They'll have some fall meets, slice it up and dice it up there. So that's something to get excited about. The momentum is building towards football and much more for Auburn sports this year. Now, certainly there's other things outside the sports. The university is growing and changing. Spidal Hall, I think, is on its last days here. They've been doing a lot of farewell stuff for it. If you are a former student or something of Spidal Hall, certainly these are some sad days for you if that's your thing and that's where you spend a lot of time. I don't actually know a lot of people who spend a ton of time there, but that's something that's been out there in the space. And obviously in off season, there is always scheduling news, hiring news. We've gotten some commits over the last couple of days and weeks. So one to start off the week for this particular week. So there's a lot we could get into this evening. There's a lot that we could discuss, and we want to go where you want to go in the chat. So let's go ahead and start rolling through that. You guys don't be shy. Jump on into the call line, jump on into the chat window here, and we'll we'll get going here. Hunter says, I made it a priority to attend the stream tonight. I even managed to arrive early. Well played, sir. Well played. Now your next step is utilize the call-in link. That's what you should do. That's available for you there as well. He also says, multi-part question I'd like some dialogue on. What has Freeze done that you find to be the most impressive? What is your biggest criticism of him? How can he improve? Do you believe he is a long-term solution to our coaching issues we've experienced as of late? Yeah, Hunter, for those of you that don't know him, he is one of our regulars over on TikTok, and he loves to give me long-form content or questions over there that doesn't really suit for that stream. So I always suggest to him to come over here and do that, and boy, he doesn't disappoint. he just gives me the longest one, the most questions. You know, Hunter, we could have done this in like groups. All right, let's try to digest this a little bit here. Multi-part question. What has Freeze done that you find the most impressive? The fact that he sold himself on recruiting and has done that to this point. And as you're probably going to hear me regurgitate the same things I've said a lot, Hunter, here. It's not just when people think of recruiting and recruiting well, they think of stars, they think of rankings. You know me well enough to know that I think that is the most shallow way that you can think about that. And frankly, it's the incorrect way to think about it because doesn't matter how many stars that they come in with. It matters what they leave with. So to me, it's recruiting well by certainly perceptions and maintaining that, but also the perception only matters in the pre of it unless they get out there on the field and they do something big. And those people that he has recruited as true sophomores, true freshmen, have already done that. They have surpassed some of the people that were starting in their positions and taken over those jobs. People have transferred out because they were losing starting time to those true freshmen and to true sophomores. There are plenty of examples like that on Auburn's current team. And certainly you'll have some people point to, oh, look at Auburn recruiting right now. Listen, you're pointing to one small segment in a long, Kenyatta Watson said it best. It is not a sprint. It is a marathon. And I think he's starting to kind of have some fun with that phrase that he has coined, I guess, or at least made his own. And I love it. I think it's a great way to think about all that. So that answers that first part. What is your biggest criticism of him? I think sometimes he can be a little bit too honest, which is ironic because for years we have wanted people to be a little bit honest. He'll just kind of share what's on his mind. I think sometimes, right or wrong, that has gotten him into some trouble with criticism in terms of people just looking for something to jump on him about. So I think that would be my biggest criticism of him is that he tends to, and that's something that's coming straight from him too, that he tends to be a little bit too honest at times. But I'll take that over the latter. How can he improve? Easy enough here. He's got to improve the on-the-field wins. The biggest aspects that you get measured by on the feet in terms of a successful program is recruiting well and getting the wins because of that. So that is the next phase. And do you believe he is the long-term solution to our coaching issues we're experienced as of late? You know, I don't like to go out too far in terms of speculation. I don't really like to even go that far with it. I'd like to just kind of take things as they come. I'm a 4-year coach window type of guy, as long as we're seeing progress in certain areas and there are no extenuating circumstances that would warrant removing someone, as there have been in the past. So for me, I'm all good. I don't really think of it as he's the long-term solution. I think of it as he is here. He is, I look at 4 years is when I will start evaluating whether or not we are heading in the right direction and go from there. So I hope that gives your long-formed question the answers that you were looking for there. Woo! He did not disappoint this season. He did not disappoint. Sam, WT, thank you guys so much for checking in with us. Lots of familiar faces and names popping into the chat. You guys do not be shy. Come on into the chat. Let us know what topics and things that you want to discuss. That was just the starting point, and that was a long-winded starting point, but I think I answered it thoroughly enough for Hunter. All right, let's take our first caller of the evening. He's usually ready to go, always ready. You know him, you love him. He's Captain Optimism. What's up, Kevin?
War Eagle.
War Eagle. Where's your hat at, man?
Where's right there? Hat? Yeah.
You're not gonna wear it tonight for it? No cowboy hat on the stream? Nothing for us to see. He's just gonna. What hat are you wearing this evening? Oh, okay. He's gonna put it on for us now. Love it. Love it. Of course, it looks like your stream's having trouble now because maybe the Wi-Fi can't get through that hat, but hey, we'll take it.
Hey, how you been doing?
I've been doing well, enjoying the summer. It's finally slowing down for me a little bit with just personal
Number
stuff and
number
certainly the
number
times that we can
number
get
9.
through the summer. Hang on 1 second. Let me let me finish the statement, then I'll take on what you said there. Certainly, I'm having a lot more fun this summer now that things have slowed down. What were you saying?
Number 9.
Number 9. Who are you wearing for this evening?
Deuce Knight.
Deuce Knight. Okay. He's like, duh, Kyle, Deuce Knight. Come on, buddy. Number 9 to me, Anthony Mix was number 9, wasn't he? I think somebody in the
Yeah,
chat.
Anthony Mitz and Robbie
Ashford. Yeah, he was number 9.
Where's he at now?
Last I checked, he was at South Carolina. I thought he entered the transfer portal there. You know, once they leave Auburn, I really don't spend a ton of time thinking about them. Not to be rude towards them. It's just they're not part of the Auburn equation anymore, so they don't really factor into my daily life at all. But he's finding success wherever he is.
I'm glad that Jaquez Wilkes committed to Auburn.
Yep, that was the big commit this week. Jaquez, not Jarquez. I'm going to have trouble with that too because we say Jarquez a lot. We're so used to 4 years of saying Jarquez. Now we got to say Jaquez Wilkes. He's a linebacker, edge type of guy. It looks like Auburn maybe wants him as a linebacker, middle linebacker type of situation. So we'll see what happens when he officially arrives, if he signs on the dotted line. But that's your next little chipping away at the narrative that we can't recruit right now.
I hope we get that kid name. His last name is Parks.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you who that is because I don't. You know me, Kevin. I don't spend any time worrying about people who aren't currently committed.
And Brian Womack, he should commit to Auburn because his sister is on the softball team.
Okay, well that's good. I mean, I love family connections for Auburn sports. We've got a lot of those right now. Some more maybe on the way. So I do love family connections. That's a good thing to sell here at Auburn. Bring the family on it. We got the Falks here. We got the Smiths here. We've got Malik Blockton and his brother. Wow, I'm blanking on his name. I just talked about him the other day. He's not here anymore.
He's not?
No, Malik Blockton's brother was. I can see his face. I can see him on the defensive line, and somebody's screaming in the chat right now.
Did he transfer?
Marcus.
He graduated.
Marcus Harris. There it was.
Marcus Harris.
Yes, I figured it out. Took me a minute. We got there. Bear with me this evening.
You remember when we had Quentin Groves?
Do I remember when we had who?
Quentin Groves.
Oh, Quentin Groves. Yes. Absolutely, I do. I think Quentin was there while I was in school.
Nick Fairley.
Oh, yeah, of course. You're asking me if I forgot some of the greatest Auburn defensive linemen. Of course not.
Bo Jackson is one of the offense stars.
Oh, yeah. He's the best. Isn't he the greatest of all time, I think, at running back at least, if not the greatest of all athletes.
And Trey Mason was good, too.
Oh, yeah. We're just going to go through every player you like tonight, huh? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
All right. What's on your mind? What other questions you got?
Who will intercept some passes this year on the defense?
Well, I hope everybody got some interceptions.
Kendrick Falk.
You think Keldrick Falk is going to get an interception?
Get one.
Well, I'll tell you this much, Kevin.
Again,
College Football 26, I had an interception with him. It was kind of an inadvertent one. Like the ball got tipped at the line and he picked it up and ran it back. So it's going to have to be something probably like that. Unless they drop him back in coverage, which is not crazy. It's been done before. But you know, I think he's probably one of your less likely guys, although I will be thrilled if a big man gets an interception. Rayon Strader may be a good one. I got an interception with him in College Football 26 that we put a highlight out.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah, man. It was like my first playing online interception of somebody. Rayon Strader just went and just ran on in. I know those do it again like that. It ran on in.
Yeah, I got that. I got that game too.
How good are you? Are you undefeated right now?
I'm playing. I won like 4 SEC championships and national.
Wait a minute. You're telling me you have the new college football 26 game and you've already won 4 SEC championships and national titles? The game's been out
Yeah,
less than 2 weeks. You've won
I've
that
been
many.
playing. Yeah, I've been playing every night.
I can tell. You ain't playing every night. You're playing every day, my man. If you got 4
Every
SEC titles
day,
and 4
and
4 national titles.
I'm number 13.
You're number 13 in
I'm
the
number
rank.
13 in the and
Okay.
I'm playing against Miami Hurricanes number 7. I'm winning 28-0.
You're not playing right now, are you?
No.
Okay, I was about to say, if you're multitasking, that's impressive. All right, I got time for one more question tonight. What you got for me?
How many touchdowns Jackson Arnold will throw to Cam Coleman this year?
Just to Cam Coleman, not total.
Total.
Right? Okay, so Cam Coleman's total touchdowns from Jackson Arnold. Well, I'm hoping that Cam Coleman can get close to a touchdown a game. I'm not saying he will. I think that would be great. That would be a great thing. It's likely not going to happen. So I'm going to predict that 9 games he gets a touchdown. And if Jackson Arnold's doing well, stays healthy. So I'll say 9. 9 times touchdown Jackson
I'll say
Arnold.
9. I'll say 9 too, but there's different wide receivers there.
Well, yeah, that's what you just gave me Cam Coleman as my option. So I just said I could only go with Cam Coleman. So that's what you told me. So that's what I went with.
Hey, you think Perry Thompson step up?
I hope so. I really hope he does. He's got an opportunity.
And Bryce King.
Everybody, Horatio Fields, Sam Turner, all of them. They've all got an opportunity to step up
and
show out.
Sam Turner is number 18.
Yes, he is. Some other great wide receivers wearing 18.
He is on my team on this game.
Well, I hope so if you're playing as Auburn. All right, buddy. It's always great to hear from you, and I'm glad
I see you at the first Tiger Walk. September 6th.
I'm holding you to it, buddy. Hope to see you then.
War Eagle, bye.
All right, War Eagle, bye. All right, that was Kevin, our first caller of the night. He tends to be right there at the beginning for us. We did miss him 1 week ago, as Sam pointed out. But Sam, I think you missed last week or missed him in his call because I think it was 2 weeks ago. No, a week ago. I don't know. Time's running together here. All right. Hunter reminded us that Cam Martin was number 9, often forgotten name. Good guy, though. He's coaching now, if I'm not mistaken. He was on Gus's staff, I believe, at UCF as the running backs coach. He and Gus seem to have a very strong tie. He came over from Baylor, I think, with Jarrett Stidham. No, where did Jarrett Stidham come from? Was it Texas Tech? Let me look at something. I want to see what I've forgotten his trajectory. The first thing that comes up is him in an Auburn jersey, obviously. He was with Baylor. Yes. So here's the interesting thing about this Auburn Baylor connection. This obviously dates back to, Stidham being there, coming to Auburn. Now we sent Walker White. Well, Walker White chose to go back, but that connection. Cam Martin came over. I feel like there's been a couple other from Baylor. So I call it connective tissue. There does seem to be a little bit more connective tissue with Baylor than a lot of people are aware of between Auburn and Baylor. And I don't know why that is. It just seems to be some weird things. Like there's even personal things for me, like with my family being significantly tied to that university now through the seminary program. My youngest brother just got married. His wife and their family are major Baylor fans. So they got married out in Waco. So apparently I can't get rid of Waco and I can't get rid of Baylor. But yet I may not be going on this trip down there as I originally thought I might be. Hunter says, which running back do you predict to have the most touches? Hunter, I don't do these speculative things this early. I don't do that. Not even on here. I think it's very simple. This is the same whether I'm asked the question about who's going to be starting, things like that. I'm going to go with what's the most obvious. I think seniority right now is the safest thing to go with. Obviously, after that, so many things can fall into affecting that prediction. That can be injuries. That can be someone's not being as productive. That can be off the field issues. Heaven forbid. It's already happened this summer. So, I think once again, I know we're so eager to talk about these things. I think it's just a little bit premature to be wondering about those things. August 15th is the date for predictions. I will just start dropping predictions, even ones I haven't even thought about on that. We've got a short time. I figured it'd be an exception since you predicted touchdowns for Cam. Well, Kevin's a very adamant guy about getting predictions out of me. And I think, I like to honor him in that way. So he is not one to let me slide on those things. Everybody else, don't care about y'all. I'm kidding. No. Kevin usually wants to know those things from me. And as I try to remind him, I haven't thought about them a whole lot. So I'm just giving him off the cuff right now. And I truly, I know I become quite annoying, whether it's on TikTok or here, when I am just a stickler about this, not getting so speculative about things. But I feel passionate about this idea that we as fans can talk about other things and can focus on other things other than just predicting this, predicting that. You can only have so many predictions before somebody's going to get it right. So I don't know. That's just me. And I think I'm also being an old man and a grump about it, but that's just where I am. All right. I think we're going to probably have a little bit of a slower night tonight, looking so far from the chat and things like that. So really you all can take center stage. So don't be shy in the chat room for those of you that are here. Let's get some comments and topics going. Otherwise, I'm just going to yammer on about what I want to, and it may not be something that y'all want me to talk about. July 25th is coming up, which is the Auburn and Nike Big Purchase Day online in store. Been debating on whether or not I'm going to go to Auburn for that day for the opening of the downtown store, the main team shop store next to J&M, and there's going to have a celebration there. They're claiming there's going to be a lot of other things going on. They've announced a 5K run before all that. Right now, I think I'm leaning towards not going and potentially going the next weekend when it's going to be that surplus sale that's supposedly going to be popping off and be very interesting to see. So we'll see. I could change my mind on that, but I hope you guys are excited. That those of you that have been really looking forward to this Nike swap over, you had the excitement of the day of it happening and the reality and seeing all the uniform reveals, and now you get to take part in the mania of Auburn and Nike switch over and finally purchase some things. I know so many of y'all are really excited about that. Sam says, I would call in, but I'm listening from the library this evening. Yeah, that's probably not going to be a good idea, Sam. Although if you're going to do it from the library at this time of year, a call in, this is probably the time to do it. Although it's even more quiet in there, so you probably would stick out even more. Is there a specific player statistic that you hope to see someone reach this year? He found a way to ask the speculative question. Hunter's determined to figure out how you can get that out of me. I'd like to see a 1,000-yard receiver. When's the last time we saw that? That would be fun. I take a great amount of pride in Auburn having a 1,000-yard rusher every season, or most seasons. So to me, that's probably where my mind goes on that. Whatever the statistic is of hurries, I'd like to see the least amount of quarterback hurries across the entirety of the last 5 years. That would be great. Those are a few of the things that I'd think about. Sam says, I'm definitely more excited for the surplus as opposed to the Nike. Well, here's the deal. You're getting deals with the surplus and you're paying Nike prices, full prices for that. And plus, this is like game or officially stuff unused, probably a lot stuff from the athletic department that was in there with the players, and that feels special to people. I get it, I do, which I think is going to make it quite the circus day. Oh, Clint is the one that inspired you. Clint Richardson, Auburn Uniform Database. He's on here a lot, so if you spend more time over here, you'll get to know him more. I can't really convince him to come over to TikTok. Clint is in a medium that I think is built for the visual, but I just cannot get him to buy into he needs to invest more in his YouTube channel and things like that. And we've talked through that. I only give him a hard time just because I care about the dude and I like to pick at him. But I do think that he could invest a little bit in that and do some great things with the visual nature of the content that he likes to discuss, things like that. Kevlar says, do you think we are finally going to see a great O-line this season where our backs can find holes and our QBs have time to throw? I have no clue, Kevlar. I have absolutely no clue. And on August 15th, when I start dropping predictions, I don't know that I'm going to officially know that. I won't know it, but I won't even probably have a clearer picture of it. Here's what I do know. You can choose the way that you look at this. I have found that right now, for the last 5 to 6 years, Auburn's offensive line has not been consistently good. There have been moments, especially last year, where it seemed like they were a lot better and maybe turning the corner to more consistency. However, that fell off again. So not consistently playing well, not about individuals, about the unit. So you could approach that from a couple of different angles. You could say, well, they haven't done it yet, so why would we expect it to be any different? And I'm not there on that side of the spectrum, but I would say I at least dip my toe into that side of it a little bit. I tend to be more of an optimist. Or you could go, well, the odds are in our favor. For the last 5 or 6 years, it's not been good. So sure as heck, it's got to be good this year because that's just the law of averages, right? I don't know. I really don't know. I hope so because it is long overdue for our quarterbacks to be able to stand back there, not be forced to develop bad habits and have the blame thrown on them consistently by uninformed masses that really don't know what they're talking about. Personal goal more than speculation. I always find myself favoring certain players. So I think I'm going to stick with that. If we can get a 1,000-yard rusher, 1,000-yard receiver, that is what I'd really like to see because the rusher has been more likely than the receiver over the last several years in Hughes' offense. I think it could be flip-flopped. So it would be great to see the two of them. The surplus sale has not happened before, as far as you know. I didn't know of one. And given what y'all heard Clint talk about last night, he and I have talked behind the scenes. I think there's a little bit of trying to figure out how to do this the right way. Trial by error type of situation maybe here. There's planning going in for it. Don't hear me not say that. But I think there's a little bit of that being in the mix as well. By the way, can I ask y'all a real quick question? I'm just realizing, quick tangent. Can y'all hear the fan on with this microphone? If you can, I need to turn that down next time we do this. But as you can imagine with lights, I mean, pull the curtain back a little bit. There are 2 lights off this way. There's a lights behind me and it's just a stuffy room. It gets a little warm in here. So I've got to have extra fan this time of year to go with. Here's a little resource for you guys that want to purchase decently made jerseys. Just takes about a month to receive it because it comes from overseas, averaging about $30 per jersey. I'm not a big jersey person, believe it or not. I have one for Cam Newton. I bust that out for special occasions. Clint seems like he's got a lot of knowledge. What is the primary platform, if not YouTube? I think it's more of a comfort level thing. And to be honest, I am very glad that he's gotten more use and more comfortable to be in my regular guest because we've worked together in audio only formats and other venues before, but he is, I think it's just a preference thing more than that. And to be honest, sometimes it just doesn't click how you can utilize that until you just give it a try one day. And then you realize, well, this kind of worked, but could I do it this way? Well, that didn't work. But then you the amount of times that I've tried something that hasn't worked and gone back and done a new version of it, is countless. So my motto is in this content creation game, never say never, never completely throw away an idea. You never know what you might come back to and utilize. I wish Damari Alston got some love. The guy has been patient and loyal to us in the program, and he has yet to receive credit for it and his skill sets. I think this is a great point, Hunter. By the way, how great was it to see Damari on the stream last night? That was awesome, and I scored a touchdown when he was there. So I'm going to say something here, and I think those of you that have gotten to know me in this format probably won't be shocked that I would step out in this way. And I always acknowledge that it can be perceived as being a little bit uppity or arrogant about, but I have high expectations for the Auburn family. My belief is that if you're part of the Auburn family, you live by the Auburn creed. And if you're not representing that, you deserve to be held accountable to that. I think, frankly, how people think and treat and speak about, or lack thereof, the respect towards Damari Alston is indicative of a bigger problem. So many times, all we do is focus on who we've been convinced is the better of the two because of publications, because of media, all that stuff, because someone told you these stars matter than these more. And because this person was this amount or this amount when he was in high school, it means something. And we may look, I may be wrong at the end of this. Jeremiah Cobb may be the lead back and take over as lead back and do amazingly better than Damari. But I'm just going to go with what's the most likely thing right now. And I think also I agree. I tend to align myself with those that are getting underestimated and underappreciated a lot. That's just how I've always chose to look at it. Excellent feedback. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. This is from Sam. When you went to school at Auburn, did you ever get to any away games? Just got my tickets today and they are pricey. What tickets did you get for the for the away games? Excuse me. I went to the only away games that I went to were LSU in 2009. That was not a good one. I went to Mississippi State and Kentucky in the championship year 2010. I don't think I purchased those preseason. I purchased them the week of through the secondary market. So I was a very poor college student. I had to work full time for a lot of my college career as time went on, and I got a little bit of money saved up and changed my living situation at Auburn. I got to work a little bit less, and I needed to because of school too, and just to actually have a college life. And I tangent here, but I think my towards the end of my junior year, especially, but like my senior year, I made the most in the full experience. I was able to balance work, school, maximize that, having just an amazing athletics year too, with football the way it was, just social life. Me and my girlfriend, soon to be fiance, now wife at the time, were reaching that point in our lives too. It was just a great year all the way around. Got me reminiscing over here. Auburn doesn't see the money on the DH gate though. Yeah, that's how it works. So anyway, I don't have any experience buying student away tickets. Now, I did try to buy some because for the lottery for the SEC championship and the championship game, I did not win either of those. Now, Jessica, my wife, fiance, well, she wasn't fiance at the time. She was girlfriend at the time. She won the Georgia. So here's a funny story. I should tell this real quick. I don't know if I've ever told this or if it's been a while. So 2010, senior year for me, senior year for her. We're having a special year. Obviously, we both feel like we were going to get married at some point in the future. We're dating at that point. So it's already going to be a special year. Have the great undefeated season with Cam, and we get to the SEC championship game, ready to play South Carolina again. We go to do the lottery, and us and our group of friends are all sitting around waiting. And then she's actually gone because she was in nursing school and was busy all the time with that. We're all sitting around. She goes, did you get it? No. Did you get it? No. Did you get it? It's a couple. One person, I got it. I'm going. Or I can go, or I can sell the ticket or whatever. Not many of us were able to go, but then I get a text from her. Yeah, I got the ticket. And I fully expected my lovely girlfriend at the time, my lovely wife now, to say to her, the love of her life, soon to be husband, that ring was coming, to say, honey, you go. I know this means more to you than it does to me. Now, it meant a lot to her, but I fully expected her to hand that over to me. Nope, she went to the Georgia Dome with her friend from our friend group, and I sat at home. So unfortunately, I have not had the chance to even win the lottery for any of those special student ticket options. That, of course, I have no experience with that whatsoever. Sam says, got A&M for 150. Their environment seems electric, even if they are a cult. I think it'll be exaggerated because they are out for revenge. Yeah, I kind of said this, and we talked about it on the Auburn Experience this week. If you need extra motivation, if you're Texas A&M to beat Auburn, what have y'all been doing? 150, probably going to be a daytime game. Feels a little pricey, but hey, it'll be probably a fun experience. This is from Hunter. I'd love to experience Kyle Field. I also believe, because it's my field, I also believe they are the next big rival in the future. It's one of my favorite games of the entire year, each year. I think we talked about this on TikTok a little bit, Hunter, that there's been some great history in the young history of being conference foes, Auburn and Texas A&M. For a while there, it was the away team wins, and that was it. Auburn broke that streak via Seth Williams in 2017, 18, something like that. And since then, it's been a little bit more variable. The home teams have won more, especially Auburn last year being a very big one. So it could be. It absolutely could be. I think it's going to be hard to develop a rivalry with this new scheduling model that we're currently in, but it can be done. It can be done. He says, I think they have replaced Florida's number 3 rival. Oh, Hunter. Oh, sweet Hunter. You're so wrong. There's too much history with Florida. There's too much history with Florida for that to be. And I know that it's beyond y'all's time, but trust me. And I'm not that much older than y'all, but the Auburn and Florida, I call it connective tissue, goes so deep that it's going to take a long time for Texas A&M to usurp them in any way. I promise. I'm not riled up yet, but I will always support that Florida belongs in that number 3-4 slot. LSU still probably is going to be number 3 for now, but as we play them less and less, it's going to probably die off a little bit. When it was an every year game, that was number 3. But now we're getting close to the time LSU and Florida for me are almost a 3A and 3B. After that, it would be Tennessee. And then we get, so here's what we can do. So whether you agree with me or not, let's talk about this a little bit. I think this is a good topic for tonight. I like this a lot. And see, this is what we do here on Auburn Family Night. We can get some participation in the chat too. Let's remove Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Florida, and Tennessee. Whether you experienced it or not, those are the traditional 5 rivals, and in that order. Some are going to disagree with that. Outside of that, in the SEC, let's do a ranking. How would you rank them in terms of a rivalry? Now, I know Hunter's already going to be at Texas A&M at number 6, but just, you don't even have to say number 6. Just acknowledge that Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Florida, Tennessee have been wiped from this discussion. They're in their own separate category. Those are the true rivalries. The secondary rivalries, where would you put them? How would you stack them? How would you rank them? What's up, Micah? Good to see you. I think there's some good conversations to have within that. There's going to be certainly an element of recency bias here towards teams like Texas A&M and considering those types of games. Ole Miss, I think, has got a really strong case for being very high up on that list too. Oklahoma and Texas are going to be at the bottom right now, although Oklahoma would probably be ahead of Texas given some recency with that. Auburn and Texas have played in the past. Really, you could almost put those into those separate groups themselves. I think you're probably going to find a secondary subgroup like Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Arkansas. I think Arkansas would probably go into that group too. Mississippi State, I want to put in there, that secondary group, but I just don't know that I can right now. But that group in the back, which we've already addressed, Oklahoma, Texas, again, we're talking about removing the main rivals of Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, LSU, putting the rest in like rankings or subgroups. Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and I would probably I'd throw them in their own group because they're from the Big 12, not as much history. Texas A&M is from the Big 12 originally, but they feel more SEC. Auburn has played with them more. It feels a lot more real. We were in the division with them. There's a lot more history developed there. So I can go with you there. So that's probably what it is. You probably got 4 quads or 4 groups of this. The main ones that we've removed from this discussion: Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Florida, Tennessee. Then, if we're removing them from this discussion, there's the secondary group. This is all workshopping this together right now. You've got Ole Miss, and this is probably how I would put them. Ole Miss, Arkansas for right now, very close Texas A&M in that group, in that subgroup of rivals. Then there's a group between that one and the last one, which is third, tertiary, if I'm using correct terminology, group, which would include Kentucky, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, that have more traditional history with Auburn, but there's just not been a ton developed. Certainly you can say about Vanderbilt these days, but we're just doing the SEC. And then that last group would be Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, I think. And this is just about football too. So what do you think? I mean, do you agree, disagree with that take? I think it's a pretty fair assumption. It was a fun little workshop attempt to try there. Let's see what some of you guys were saying here. I'll come back to what Unbeaten Lake said in just a second. I do think you'll agree that the call-in that Games was arguably the best of our announcers' calls thus far. I forgot his name. You forgot our announcer's name, Andy Burcham. Yeah, Texas is at the bottom. Texas, Oklahoma would be at the bottom, being that there's no strong proof that there's a rivalry there. I agree. WT put a little bit of extra flavor from the ACC in there, but Georgia Tech certainly. But let's be honest, it's those 4, and then throw LSU in the top group right now. Hunter says, I have a deep hatred for Arkansas for absolutely no reason whatsoever. It's because they were such a big game with Gus for so long. Sam says, I would say, this is his ranking: A&M, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Mizzou. Did I forget Mississippi State? I'll put them in that secondary group for right now, but I feel like they could be bumped down to the third one, to be honest with you. That Cam Newton situation makes it a little bit interesting. I feel like we have no connection to South Carolina. Now, we had some great games with them when Steve Spurrier was there, but I agree it's a little bit, there's more connection there to Oklahoma, Texas, and Missouri. So they go in the tertiary group. You got your primary, your secondary, your tertiary, and your quaternary, however you say that. Yeah, I don't think there's any. I don't think anybody agrees in this discussion of how we group Auburn's primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary rivalries that they are in the 4th group. Do we all? Can I ask everybody in the chat? Do we agree that Missouri is in that last group as well. I know there's been some scary games with them as of recently. I get it. I hear you on that. I still don't think there's enough of that there. Just because Missouri almost beat Brian Harsin does not equate them being some big rival. I think they belong in that group. If anybody disagrees with me on that, let me know. You could probably make a case to go into the tertiary group. If it's really considered a rivalry, is it really considered a rivalry if the matchups are historically extremely one-sided? We own Ole Miss, Arkansas, and Kentucky, which is why they're further down. I'm factoring into the Ole Miss, Arkansas situation more things than just what the scoreboard is on all of that. There is animosity that has built amongst those two teams and had some great games as well, in especially more modern history. I'm talking even back to the early 2000s. All right, I think everybody was agreeing about Texas. Missouri belongs there. Missouri should be categorized with Texas and OU. We don't have much history other than the first year they joined the SEC. I don't want to be rivals with Missouri. That's embarrassing. Well said. That is actually really good. Good. I like that one, Sam. Okay. Yeah. I like that. I like what we just came up with there. That was a good collective exercise. I don't think there's too much disagreement there. Once again, let's do it. Primary group. This is Auburn's rivals ranked into groups with arbitrary rulings about history, the status of the record for each of that, and connective tissue, all that stuff. We've got the primaries: Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Florida, Tennessee, in that order. The secondaries: Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Arkansas, and for now, Mississippi State. The tertiaries: Kentucky, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, simply because we played in the SEC with them and they can't be in the last group. And then Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri in the final group. We did it. We did it. Corey, what are you doing, man? I had a feeling some of y'all forgot about us tonight, but you made it. You made it. I forgot to send out an all call in the Discord. So maybe you can just blame me for that one. Sam, I agree with you. I think Auburn and Oklahoma have a chance to be a good rivalry, but you got to play more. And in this current setup, that's just not going to happen. That's going to be the struggle here. When you had divisions, you developed more of a rivalry. And that's why we ranked that the way we do, because there is that history, especially recent history with some of those teams. Micah says all those teams besides the big few, the only reason they are big games would be if both teams are better or there's a storyline between the teams. It's kind of subjective, I guess I'd say. Yeah, I mean, and that's those five because of history mainly, but also because it's competitive more so in a lot of those in terms of records. And there's a lot of shared, I use this word and this phrase a lot, connective tissue, historically, all that kind of stuff. There's a fervor for that thing, and maybe it even bleeds into other sports as well. I do think that the true test of a rival is, do they transcend the other sports? Certainly Auburn and Alabama do. Auburn and Georgia do mostly. Auburn and LSU really don't transcend maybe other into sometimes basketball. Baseball has been, at least this year. Florida, especially now, has been a big rival in basketball. Maybe a little bit in baseball too. Tennessee, maybe more so just in basketball and baseball, I would say, definitely. And this is where I kind of, we got earlier someone making the case, it was Hunter, about Texas A&M needed more respect as a rival for Auburn. But it doesn't really transcend outside of football. to me, Ole Miss transcends outside of football, especially in basketball, and it does pretty well in baseball too. And I know we're talking about the big three there. There are other sports besides those things, but those are the ones that most people think of. So, yeah. All right. 50 minutes. We're at 50 minutes right on the dot. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're not done quite yet. Y'all know the drill. Phone lines are still open. Please give it a shot. If you haven't, we'd love to hear from you and get your perspectives on anything that we haven't talked about, especially this evening. So jump on into the chat. Let us know what you want to talk about. I'm going to give you some reminders to keep up to date with what we've got going on here at E2C Network. Obviously, Wednesday nights, 9 Eastern time. Tell a friend, invite a friend, get them here, drag them here, make them join Auburn Family Night on YouTube. Next up for you on live streams that are scheduled, always be subscribed because you never know if we might have a special one. Episode 135 of the Auburn Experience podcast. We will be back together with you. And what's probably going to be one of our final shows that isn't automatically dedicated to a lot of football talk. I mean, after this point, practice will have started. We'll be maybe even doing a little bit of that this week. So to get a fullness of what we do in the Auburn Experience before we move into a time period that is so dominated with football talk, this is your week. So join us 9 Eastern time here on YouTube for the live recording of the Auburn Experience podcast. I always want to give a shout out when we can to Alumni Hall. They're not a sponsor, but we are an affiliate with them. And we talked about this a little bit with Clint, and I'm probably going to share our link out on Friday for you all to utilize as well. My biggest ask is that you support Clint first by shopping through his affiliate links. It's no extra charge if you go through that. We get rewarded by sending them to you as an affiliate of theirs. If you purchase something is the big thing, but they do see like what traffic we send to them, and it helps maybe evaluate potential partnerships. Alumni Hall, we are a partner with them, an affiliate with them. So I'm going to put that out if you guys will consider helping Clint out primarily, but maybe even if you're going to buy some extra things and you want to help our affiliate status out with Alumni Hall, please do consider doing that with the whole Nike stuff coming out this week. Those are honestly, a lot of you have asked questions before if you don't want to join the Conquer Club or you don't want to be a subscriber on TikTok, which is a paid thing, or if you don't want to do just a traditional extra money towards something. An easy way to support us is if you're already going to be buying apparel to support us through affiliate links, things like that. Or if we're an affiliate with tickets, a big thing is ticket sales. So we work with SeatGeek this year. If you're going to be buying tickets to games, if you haven't already, please use our code E2C Network at Gmail. E2C Network, all one word together. E2C Network, all one word. So there's my pitch. There's my spiel for all that stuff. All right. What were you guys saying here in the chat? I think there were some leftovers from our big conversation. Although the new uniforms are some of the best in the country, this was about, I missed something here. Oh, I missed a bunch of stuff. How did I get so far behind in the chat, guys? Let me go back up here. See what you guys were saying. Have I discussed the new hire for football? What is it for? What is the role? Corey, I haven't really dug into that a whole lot because there hasn't been the official announcement from Auburn. And I know basically when the beat writers start reporting it, it's pretty much true, but I like to hear it first from Auburn themselves. So I haven't really dug into that. It just sounds like another position to help manage the landscape of the changing world of college football. We must beat Vandy this year. I'm tired of watching Pavia rest through our defense. Rip. There we go. Rip through our defense. Hopefully they can get it figured out this year. Well, the divisions also kind of pitted the East versus the West to which division was better at times. Yes, it did. Tennessee Orange is ugly. Let's see here. Pavia just has a knack for finding an open guy to throw to. It's hard to stop him. Even Alabama and Tennessee couldn't figure it out. There are these guys in sports, college sports especially, that you look at them and you go, I'm not saying that you don't deserve to be out there, but it it just shouldn't be this easy for you. Like, it shouldn't just work out for you. What was his name at South Carolina? Michael Carrera. You want to talk about a guy that just looked like he didn't belong to be out there? I mean, again, he probably ran circles around me, but I'm a pretty good basketball player too, in my own right. He just looked like he didn't need to be out there. And for whatever reason, he would just score baskets. I couldn't make it make sense. It was just weird. Just weird. And I think Pavia somewhat falls into that category as well. Texas A&M deserves absolutely no consideration as a rival. I think there's some, but I don't think there's as much as like Hunter thinks there is. WT says, appreciate the tip of the hat from you and Clint on the stripe going up the pants leg. Yeah, I've told him a lot how much that has messed you up. And so I think that's always stuck with him. I hope everything's okay with the family, by the way. But we certainly enjoyed talking about that last night. Pavia reminds me a lot of Jalen Hurts. Dude is just a winner and plays his heart out. I'm glad you went that route with it. I was like, even though he came from Alabama, I kind of respect Jalen Hurts a little bit. But yeah. It is not a true the Auburn experience without these scintillating, is that what that is? Scintillating updates to construction. What's wrong with our construction updates? Listen, WT, there are people that will ask frequently about, have you been to campus lately? And what's the status of this project? Now, thankfully, the education building is done. There's not a lot to see with the stuff next to it. The scoreboard is done. Baseball is done. So it's really going to be quiet for you for a while until now. Can we all just acknowledge Beard Eves Memorial ain't going to last. It's going to go away at some point, and that will be a big construction update time for me. I got to figure out where I'm going to get views from other than the parking deck. Forgot you were on the AUM team. Did you ever play intramural b-ball at Auburn? Yeah, I was on the Auburn Montgomery basketball team for 1 year, but didn't play my second year to focus on school, and my last year kind of being with my family and my friends before I moved off. But I did play intramural ball, but not like at the highest level because I played with the BCM, the Baptist Campus Ministries, and they were like different. I think there was like a competitive one and there was just for fun, and we were in the just for fun one. But I played at the rec, the old rec, a lot. Played with football players, basketball players. But it's funny you say that. We developed a pretty good little co-ed group with my good friend Cole, who doesn't live too far from me now. Ironically, he moved up here where I am, not choosing to do that. He just did. And then my girlfriend at the time, the other girlfriend we don't talk about, her best friend, and then another friend they had. So we had me and him and these three other girls, and we had a pretty nasty co-ed team that could beat a lot of people you would expect it, because we all played well together. We were great teammates to each other. How many practices will they have for fall camp? I don't think they've specified, Corey, but usually it's every 2 days, I think, or every other day in some cases. So fall camp is technically from the end of July to the middle of August. So let's call it 2.5 weeks. So I bet we're going to see that's 14 days is 2 weeks. So let's call it 17 days. Let's call it 16 days just for round math. So I'll say we have 10 practices. That sounds about right. Are we going to host any more open practices prior to the season opener? No, they announced that with the autograph session returning to A-Day that would not happen this year. Which I see good and bad with that. I saw a value for a lot of people who can't afford to come to a regular game nor want to deal with that, to come get, right before the season starts, a look at the team to kind of feel like you went to the game. Because it developed into that kind of thing. So I hate part of me hates it went away. Part of me understands. It is what it is. Hunter said Unbeaten Lake. Oh, Unbeaten Lake. I got to go back to your question. I realized I started one. We're already over an hour here. Let's roll through these. Unpopular opinion. I actually really enjoyed my A-Day experience. It was definitely different, but I still had a great time. And I think the glimpse we got to see was valid. Yeah, I mean, to me, A-Day is maximized by the things that happen amongst the weekend rather than just the game. But I love A-Day weekend, even if there's not a true game being played. The scoreboard is a big upgrade for us. Now fans do not have to crick their neck to see the replays. For fans, yeah, but I bet the sound thing's going to be even better. Unbeaten Lake said this a long time ago. He says, we need to get game day to come to the Georgia game. We can't let them go to the Red River rivalry. I don't think that you're going to get them to not go to that unless Auburn is undefeated and Georgia is undefeated and Oklahoma is not doing well. If those scenarios come together, I think you could probably make a good case for that. I would love to see it. I'd love to see it. It would be so much fun. Any update on when you may do the video game football games? Can't wait till when you have to punt. Oh, I've already punted a bunch. Are you saying that the punting's difficult? I've had pretty good success with it. So every year I kind of play with when a content series returns, what I'm going to do with it. So right now I'm kind of slowly adapting what I'm going to do with the college football 26 content this year. I will definitely run a simulation. I don't play. I just run the computer versus each team each year, for each game. I might do the full game I put up. Sometimes that's well viewed. Sometimes it's not. You have to kind of play through these things. But I'll definitely do like a shortened version of it or just a vertical highlight reel. There will be some type of content from a simulation that was run with a final score. I've been thinking about doing something with that with everybody else that Auburn's not going to play in the SEC and other teams as well, just to put it out there. So I may do that. I owe you guys some videos in terms of like the intro for Auburn in the daytime, the roster. I've done one for that. The look at the uniforms, just little small segments of those videos. So there's some more of that coming. I'm still kind of getting my bearings on a few things. I've been doing those TikTok streams for you guys. That's where that's really going to be. The split screen ads. Well, I didn't know if it was going to actually appear, but it's the new thing. And unfortunately, Corey, we have to earn our money. So it's going to happen at least for a little bit there until they change it again, I'm sure. Let's see here. I'll have to skip ahead just a little bit. I'm getting behind. I'm starting to get behind like I am on TikTok here. Actually good at kicking and making the members of the chat feel good about their character. You have not punted with the new punter though. That's what you want me to. I'm with you now. You should do a game non-simulation and let that be your predictions. Do a game So you want me to play and then let that be the prediction for it? I mean, that could go really poorly for us. Yeah, I will actually do a prediction. So, I mean, that's the goal is on the 15th, I'll come up with my my record prediction and start entertaining more of the, what do you predict this player will do? What do you predict that player will do? I think 2 weeks out is a reasonable time to make everybody wait on that type of stuff. All right. Guys, thank y'all so much for being here. Again, I know sometimes these are the slower nights, especially during the off season, that will get busy once again. So I highly encourage you, for those of you that have not taken advantage of the call-in link, please do utilize it. And we kind of went through this before, and I'm not just saying this to kind of scare anybody, but we always have to make decisions. If people aren't going to utilize something, we don't need to offer it. So I would highly recommend in the future, if you guys want us to keep doing the call-in link. Certainly Kevin is faithful in that, and we do get a lot of others that utilize it sometimes too, but please do try to utilize it. You can, I promise. It's not a big deal. It's not scary in any way. And even if it's just to say hello, we want to make this the show more about you guys and less about me just yammering on about the same things. I know maybe y'all get some value out of that, but we want to make it for you and about you as much as we can. So try to utilize that when you can. It certainly makes it more interesting for everybody involved. All right. Thank you so much for being here, hanging out with us, and spending some time being a part of our little family within the Auburn family. You guys are the best little family within the Auburn family, and I appreciate you so much. Until I see you either next Wednesday on Auburn Family Night, Auburn Experience live podcast recording this Sunday, or wherever else. War Eagle.